Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Arsenal have a new superstar on their hands, and it's not a very well-kept secret. We knew about this young man a couple of years ago, and when I say we, I'm talking about everybody external to Arsenal Football Club. We learned about him when he made his debut appearance for Arsenal 2 seasons ago and became the youngest player in the history of Premier League football to play in our league. But we remember it more as non-Arsenal fans for the way the mainstream media attacked the situation, attacked Arteta, attacked Arsenal. They made it out that for some reason or another, maybe there's a little bit of, covert this, covert that, a little bit of undertones going on here as well. Oh, Arteta has exposed him. He won't be able to handle the media. It's probably going to kill him off. It's going to stop his career from progressing. But we are now seeing Nwaneri turn into a very, very classy-looking football player. 3 goals in 6 games so far this season. And I saw a title last night on a video from Lee Gunner, big up to you over there, that said he has to start every game from now. And do you know what? I somewhat agree. I agree from the perspective, while Odegaard is out, give Nwaneri a chance. This young man, and a chance to start 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. Don't overuse him because he's still only 17 years old. Ensure that he is protected. Ensure that his feet are kept firmly on the ground. But I agree that this young man needs to play. He is phenomenal. And I would say this about Arteta. You think about how well he has nurtured and developed Bukayo Saka, one of the best right wingers in the world. You think about Saliba, and I know a lot of Arsenal fans wanted him to play when he was away on loan. A lot of Arsenal fans wanted him in England playing in the Premier League. They thought he was good enough, and he may have been. The stories that I remember reading, and if I'm wrong, again, don't challenge me like I'm just be polite about it. Show me the articles that were different. But I remember reading many that spoke about some family issues, some homesickness, etc., that he was suffering with, and being back in his native France was the best thing for him at that age. And I feel as though Arteta is getting it right again with Nwaneri. And although I feel that he needs more game time and exposure, I do understand why he has played so fleetingly in the last couple of years, being nurtured into a position where he is ready to play week in, week out. And I do think it's about time that talkSPORT, that Jason Cundy, that Danny Murphy hold their hands up on camera, and they do what the rest of us do in the social media world, because although they're working for talkSPORT, they're social media stars now, and say, I got it wrong. And we can all get footballing opinions wrong. We all enjoy talkSPORT. We all enjoy what they do. We criticise elements of it, the same as we get criticised for our footballing opinion. But the stuff they said was crazy. Let's take a little listen here back to what was first said by Jason Cundy when Nwaneri made his debut for Arsenal.
No, I don't take anything away from what he's done there, because what an achievement. I love the way the Arsenal fans were singing he's got school in the morning.
So Cundy starts it by saying, I'm taking nothing away from him.
The way they were chanting, because he's made everyone, his parents, everyone at the academy, his school, everyone that's had an input on his career. Congratulations, because that is an unbelievable achievement. I'm delighted for him on a personal level.
Is there a big butt coming?
There is a big butt coming.
Okay,
Arteta doesn't really care about the boy.
Wow. When you think about that, and by the way, that statement is going to continue to age like milk. This kid is, I know some people, I think he should start now. I know some people want him in the first team already, and they're saying, why is the manager delaying it? I think the Saliba example is maybe testament to why this is going to be right. But Arteta, remember that statement? Arteta doesn't care about the kid. He's just thrown him in for his own ego, was the claim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's a really poor, really poor decision. I do, because it's about Arteta. It's all about Arteta. I have the manager that played the youngest ever player in the Premier League is me. I think that's self-indulgent. And when I saw the kid on the bench, I remember thinking to myself, it's great for him there being on the bench. I was on the bench at 17, right? First time I was on the bench.
Okay for him though, right? Okay for him.
Right?
Yeah. And he's not as good or talented as Nwaneri. Just want to point that out. Good player though, Cundy, but not this level.
So
you didn't get on.
I never got on. But I remember being on the bench. So I'm thinking, what a brilliant experience for the kid, right?
Yeah.
And when he's warming up and coming on, I'm thinking, This is ridiculous. This has got nothing to do with the kid. Nothing to do. This is all about Arteta. All about him, self-indulgent. Look what I've done. I've given the youngest ever player his appearance in the Premier League.
It was never about that. It was about giving him first-team exposure, having him on the bench, having him experience a match day, giving him a few minutes as probably a reward for how hard he had worked when a game was already won, when nothing could go wrong, to give him that feeling. And of course, he's then used him fleetingly since because he's been nurturing him, physically waiting for him to be ready week in, week out. But this idea that it was never about Nwaneri, I personally think is an absolute abomination of an opinion, especially now when you look back. Equally, I actually didn't hear this one until today. A number of you, and I want to thank the Football Terrace community, you're the best around, for sending me through this clip. It's crazy.
He's certainly one for now. He's only 15 years of age. He became the youngest player in Premier League history when he came on as a substitute for Arsenal at the age of 15. So, you took a different stance to the one that many thought you might take when you let loose on talkSPORT.
I'm not convinced it's the best move for a young player. I'm really not. He's obviously a super talent. I think it's probably trying to keep a young superstar happy a little bit, which is what managers do. I get that. But I would be more concerned with sometimes what that can do, because you can elevate a 15, 16, 17-year-old even at times to a position that becomes very difficult for them to cope with mentally, because they're already becoming a superstar. I'd imagine his Insta went up by about 300,000 in a day and things like this now. So although I'm pleased for him and his family, because it's a phenomenal record he's just broke.
All pleased for the family, but digging it. You actually think about it. Ripping into a decision to play a 15-year-old, a child at that time. Oh, well done, congrats. But I'm now going to rip into you. I'm going to say your character isn't ready. That if you gain all these new followers on Instagram, it's going to corrupt you because you don't have the family unit. You don't have the support of the manager, which is, by the way, Jason Cundy also said in his clip, if you listen on, he thought Danny Murphy, this bit, was kind. He thought this was kind about Nwaneri.
Broken, and hopefully does go on to great things. I just think it could be something that Arteta maybe with hindsight wouldn't have done.
I mean, do you think so, Dan? I mean, they're 3-0 up against Brentford, and he sticks him on right at the very end for Fabio Vieira, just to give him a couple of minutes on the pitch. I mean, albeit he's 15, but surely I would have thought you'd give Arteta the thumbs up. Well,
there's not going to be a detriment to his footballing education by being around the top players and going on a pitch at that level. He'll learn a lot, even for a few minutes probably, and do it if you do it more often.
So there's no damage to his football. There's no damage, there's no problem with it, but you just wanted to attack it anyway. The idea that Nwaneri wouldn't be able to handle the spotlight, that he didn't have the family behind him, doesn't have the club behind him, you equal that into Murphy saying he doesn't care. It's ridiculous. And the reason why I don't like this type of punditry, and I'm pushing back against the opinion here, is my club, Manchester United, has one of the richest histories in top-flight European football for developing its young players. And there have been so many over the decades at 15, 16, 17 that have been given their opportunity and chances. And of course, it goes without saying that you want the club to be behind that player, protecting them. You want to ensure they have the family behind them and the support mechanism behind them to make them succeed. If you hear that a player doesn't have that, if the stories are coming out that they are making this up here, this is hypothetical. They come from a broken home. They're living with a great auntie. They're hanging around with the wrong people. They're breaking rules. They're getting into trouble. If you know that to be going on, and then at 15, 16, they're given a debut so they become superstars overnight, I think that would be fair then to challenge that approach and say, are they doing the right thing by that individual? If you don't have any understanding, any knowledge, any details of that, keep quiet. And the irony now, looking forward 2 years, looking at the development of this young man, looking how accomplished and comfortable he now looks at this level, he did have the support mechanism. He has been able to handle the stardom that came with it. He is being able so far to handle the expectation that's coming along with it. And I think Arteta has proven right here that he does care, does still remain caring about the player's well-being. And I think for me, as someone who is an advocate of these young, talented players being given game time, being developed, it's part of the tapestry, the DNA of my football club, Manchester United. It hurts me when I see young talent being given opportunities and the media attacking it for one reason or another, or using this young man as a hammer to then beat Arteta over the head with, who, if we remember back 2 years ago, they had that great start to that season. But the level of duplicity, the people speaking out of both sides of their mouths about it was unbelievable. The redefining of punditry that went on in that 12-month period, some of it still happening now, is crazy. And I think it's important. I've done this for a long time on the Football Terrace. Whether it be, when Liverpool had their great comeback against Barcelona, I called it out for what it was, one of the greatest moments in European football history. I didn't try to play it down for one reason or another. I've done it many times with the way, keeping it with Liverpool, where Mo Salah has been disrespected. The amount of debates, videos, content I've done about the disrespect against the Agueros and the David Silvas that have played here. I'm just not a fan sometimes when you hear a pundit say X, Y, and Z about Wayne Rooney, and you go, I agree with that. It's great punditry. But then with a very similar scenario to a different player, maybe at a club they dislike, or the manager at that club is someone they don't quite see eye to eye with, they suddenly flip the script and they come up with completely different rhetoric. I think it's unfair on that individual. I think it's wrong on the young player that it involves. And I think as football fans, our job is to challenge. And listen, what you would normally do with talkSPORT is just phone in and tell them why you think they're wrong. I'm just reacting to it in this way. And I'm sure Cundy and Danny Murphy are now looking back and thinking, I got that massively wrong. But overall, look, Arsenal have a new superstar in their midst. They've got Saliba. They've got Gabriel. They have, Yuri and Timber. They have Saka already. Look, they bought Rice, who's a little bit older. But again, they've got all these stars who are very good to world-class level. Give him the right game time now, Arteta. Keep developing this young man and you have another star on your hands. You really, really do. As a United fan, I don't want it to work out for Arsenal. I really, really don't, if I'm being honest with you. As an England fan, this is very, very exciting indeed. As ever, people, hit the like button and please make sure you are subscribing. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace!